Hey Camden, this is gonna look kind of weird. It's gonna look like I'm not looking up the camera, but I am. Here's my video for the case study questions for Derico. Many small businesses rely on the presence and expertise of their founder. Adam's challenge was to transition his father's company from a founder-driven model to a scalable enterprise. How did EOS help him systematize the business, and what lessons can be applied to other acquisitions? I think the biggest thing is Federico knew what he wanted to do when he bought the business, and the goal was to kind of have it work for him. He had different goals than his dad, and so once he had identified like this is where I want to go, then it just became a matter of what systems and processes do I need to put in place to make that happen. And EOS, the entrepreneurial operating system, did a good job of kind of providing those steps. So it became more just like, okay, what's the business model? What are the processes that produce revenue that help the business go? Who are the people that accomplish those processes or are involved in those processes, and then how do we streamline and improve them? That's pretty applicable to any business. Just breaking down the business into its fundamental parts and processes, and then identifying which key players participate in the function of those processes. It is systematizing the business, not just like how did it help it, but like that's essentially what EOS is it's systematizing the business. Adam had to walk a fine line between preserving his father's legacy and making the necessary changes for growth. How did defining clear processes help him navigate this transition? I'll address that one first. So having the clear processes made the outcome more directionable. And what I mean by that is, yes, he was trying to walk the line between the legacy and trying to grow the company, but at the end of the day, it was what will help us accomplish the end goal. That was the focus. And honestly, like frankly, reading the book, like yeah, he kind of tried to follow like his father's legacy, but it definitely that was the part that was kind of sacrificed for the overall goal, which I think is in his case was the right decision, because that's what the goal of having the business was. What risks do business owners face when they fail to document and implement scalable systems? They risk unsustainable business practices. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, when you think about, okay, what am I doing in the business now? Could we do the same thing if we were double or triple or quadruple our current size? And if the answer is yes, then like, cool, you have scalable or sustainable business processes in place. But if the answer is no, then it's like, well, if my goal is to scale and to get bigger, then what do I need to change to make that more possible? Much of Adam's success or struggle was determined by the people involved, both the employees he inherited and those he brought in. How did EOS help him align the right people with the right roles? How do people and processes work together to determine a company's success? I think the saying that I'm familiar with that seems to answer this question pretty well is people build the people and people build the business. Yeah, having the processes, it was more just like this kind of breaking the business into little puzzle pieces, and then identifying which players will put these pieces together most efficiently and effectively, and then just identifying who those players were, and then having them plug into the processes. Yeah, they work together because the processes don't work without the people running them, and people without processes usually are chaotic. And so people combined with good processes and good systems and a directional goal, I would say, can make pretty much anything go. I mean, that's how any incredible accomplishment in history was done. It was through good systems and processes combined with organized people accomplishing those systems and processes. If you were in an ETA search considering a family business acquisition, how would you evaluate the company's existing people and processes? The way that I evaluate them would be based on entirely on the purpose of the business. So if the purpose is to scale the business and sell it, then it's going to be pretty analytical and kind of critical, looking for like what are the inefficiencies that we're currently entertaining in the business and how can we eliminate those. If the purpose is just to like have a good time, for example, if I was buying like a smoothie shop and I just wanted my like family to be part of the smoothie shop, I'm not really worried about scalability. It's more just about the experience. Then that changes the way that I would evaluate the company's existing processes and people. What specific due diligence steps would you take to ensure you're acquiring a scalable business, not just a founder's expertise? I think the question that Reed posed in class is becoming kind of a hallmark test, which is, when was your last vacation? I can't remember if it was Reed's question or someone else's, but when was your last vacation? How long was it for? What happened while you were gone? Trying to remove key players, not just the founder, but like other key players as well, and seeing if there is enough good processes built in that the business can function with the removal of any one key player in any sector, I think is going to be the key. And if you can't do that physically when you're doing due diligence, trying to expose what that would look like by probing questions about what is this person's role? Okay, if that person was gone, what would happen? Talking from the upper level down to the bottom level of the business to see if people know the answers to those questions.